The future has arrived in the aftermath of the devastating final war. The surface of the earth lies in ruins. This underground refuge is ruled by the All-Governor, who grows increasingly paranoid about the rising influence of the Crusader Church and its high-ranking cleric, the Hierarch. Within this tense stronghold, an execution is set to take place. A woman known as Grey Alice, a witch accused of defying the church, is to be hanged, the sentence ordered by Ash, the Hierarch's ruthless enforcer. She halts all slave labor so the masses can witness the witch's punishment. Grey Alice has a reputation. She's known throughout the city as someone incapable of refusing any plea for help. No matter who comes to her, rich, poor, desperate, she always grants their request. Ash publicly declares the sentence and kicks away the platform beneath Alice. But just as the noose tightens, something strange occurs. One of the guards, as if compelled by an unseen force, fires his weapon, severing the rope and allowing Alice to break free. Chaos erupts. Ash, furious, executes the soldier on the spot and launches a manhunt for the fugitive witch. The search leads the Crusaders into the decaying outskirts, but it's Ash who ends up captured. Grey Alice strings her up in the same noose, but rather than returning the cruelty, she simply turns her back and walks away. Ash is left gasping and flailing. Witnesses, many of them former slaves, watch in stunned silence. They begin to chant a new name for her, the witch who denied the noose. Elsewhere in the city, a lone mercenary named Boyce fights off a street ambush with help from his loyal companion, a rare two-headed serpent. As always, the snake chokes out his opponent and Boyce escapes with his life. That night, Alice returns home and quietly leaves coins outside the door of a blind beggar, an old woman who has never once asked her for anything. The woman remarks that Alice's voice sounds unchanged, like that of a much younger woman, and Alice softly confirms that appearances can deceive. Later, the Queen arrives at Alice's home with her protector, Gerace, who clearly disapproves of their visit. The Queen, knowing the witch's nature, requests a dark favor. She wants the power to become a beast. Alice warns her. Transformation is irreversible, and there's no undoing such a desire. Still, the Queen insists she's prepared. Alice agrees to help, promising to hunt down a werewolf before the next full moon and bring its essence to her. Not long after, Gerace returns alone. In private, he offers Alice a set of priceless heirloom watches, begging her not to carry out the Queen's wish. She gives him her word that he too will receive what he seeks. Later, Alice enters a trance and envisions a grisly scene. A werewolf butchering would-be hunters in a valley littered with bones. At that same moment, the young Queen scorns her aging, bedridden husband, the All-Governor, mocking his weakness. She slips away to meet her lover, Boyce. After spending the night together, Boyce leaves her chamber only to cross paths with two Crusaders. He dispatches them swiftly. Later that evening, Grey Alice finds Boyce at a bar. She needs a tracker to reach the Lost Lands. He refuses. He only came to gamble. So Alice sits down and easily defeats him, wagering her wish. Out of options, Boyce reluctantly agrees to guide her. She tells him she's after a werewolf, and he knows of one, hidden deep near Skull River. In exchange for his help, she offers him Gerace's watch. Suddenly, Crusaders led by Ash burst into the tavern. Boyce throws his snake into the fray, allowing them to flee. Ash slays the serpent, and Boyce is visibly shaken. Alice is surprised at how deeply he mourns the creature. Meanwhile, Ash drags the blind woman before Patriarch Johann. Under torture, she admits that the Queen and Gerace both visited Alice. Johann realizes this could spark a political revolt and commands Ash to capture Alice and Boyce by any means necessary and force them to confess they plotted with the Queen to seize power. Alice and Boyce camp under the stars. While she sleeps, he sneaks toward her with a blade, but he stops, revealing a deadly scorpion he just killed near her neck. In his own way, he saved her. They journey on and arrive at a trading outpost run by Boyce's friends Ross and Mara. Mara and Boyce clearly share a past. Alice urges him to move faster. Time is running out before the full moon. He confesses that the quickest route is via the railroad, though it's infested with deadly creatures. That night, Boyce opens up to Mara, recounting a story about a mute, frightened child who survived the wastelands alone after his parents died. Mara guesses correctly, it was him. He just laughs it off. The next morning, they depart for the Lost Lands. At the same time, Ash and her squad board an armored train along the same rails. Back in the capital, the Queen demands the Crusaders be recalled, but Johann threatens to expose her affair if she resists. He tells Ash the All-Governor is dying and the old world is ending. To usher in the news, she must make Alice confess at any cost. Ash's squad reaches the outpost. Ross is tortured, but says nothing. When they turn on Mara, she finally cracks and reveals Alice and Boyce's destination. The Crusaders kill Ross, burn the outpost, and pursue the fugitives. Alice and Boyce arrive at a crumbling city divided by a massive chasm. An old friend operates the only cable car across. But when Boyce goes looking for him, he finds his body hanging lifeless. Before he can warn Alice, they're surrounded. The Crusaders wear black lenses, protection against Alice's persuasive magic. Ash demands Boyce hand over the witch. As he hesitates, he sees Mara beaten, bound, and hung before his eyes. Enraged, Boyce charges into battle beside Alice. With Boyce at her side, Alice unleashes her full might. Together, they carve a bloody path through Ash's forces, moving like shadows of vengeance. But their enemies are legion, and worse, they have artillery. As they flee toward an old cable line, a makeshift tram, an ancient school bus strung on steel, begins creaking its way over the gorge. A handful of soldiers leap aboard, but after a savage brawl, Alice and Boyce dispatch them with lethal precision and toss their corpses into the void. From afar, Ash watches coldly, then gives the order, cut the line. The bus slams into the far cliff, hanging by a thread. Ash removes her glasses, steadying her aim to fire, but locking eyes with Alice breaks her focus. Her shot goes wide, sparing Boyce. That's the moment he knows. Alice is no ordinary woman. She's truly a witch. Later, beneath the starless sky, they rest by a small fire. Boyce pulls a bullet from his flesh, and Alice stitches the wound. He speaks of the city, its weight, its silence, his lost companions. She listens. They realize their kinship runs deeper than blood, both marked, both hunted. Meanwhile, in the city beneath the mountain, the queen announces she's pregnant. The all-governor stares helplessly as she leans in, whispering that the child is no noble's heir, but the offspring of a low-born hunter, just as she once was. Then she smothers the old tyrant with a pillow. That same day, Alice and Boyce arrive at an abandoned military compound. The thunder of Ash's armored train rumbles closer. They take position near a decaying nuclear plant ready for war. But before Ash arrives, a wave of mutants native to the zone descends. Boyce, expecting this, lights the oil-soaked traps he planted. A wall of fire erupts, yet not all the monsters are stopped. In the chaos, a demon leading the horde seizes Alice. She doesn't scream. Instead, she stares. The creature drops her in terror, and she incinerates him with fire pouring from her hands. After the battle, Alice falls into Boyce's arms, drained. She explains, the flames do not harm humans, only darkness. But magic always asks a price. Years ago, a man came seeking the zone's secrets. She helped him because she cannot refuse, and he became a monster. She's tired, she admits. Tired of granting twisted wishes. Boyce holds her close, vowing to protect her. But there's no time to rest. Ash's train is still closing in. Back in the city, the governor's death is made public. The noble Yan praises the queen, but warns her. When her child comes of age, power will slip from her grasp. She smiles, masking her true intent. Yan, mistrustful, secretly orders Ash to prove the child isn't the governor's. Elsewhere, Alice and Boyce reach the cursed lands surrounding the River of Skulls. Boyce begs her to turn back. She hands him the captain's watch, his token. Her curse, she explains, is simple. She cannot refuse anyone's request. So when she performs her rites, no one must be near. But Boyce stays, hiding inside a tunnel. Ash's train catches up. Alice runs along the rails ahead of it. Ash watches with a grin, certain she'll crush the witch beneath steel. But just as the tracks reach a bridge over the abyss, Alice leaps. Boyce catches her midair, and together they tumble to safety as the train plunges into the chasm, dragging the Crusaders to their doom. Back in the city, Yan makes a move for the throne, but the captain strikes him down, then kills his guards. The city teeters on rebellion. Alice and Boyce reach the werewolf's den near the river. The bones piled there are beyond number. Boyce, horrified, pleads again to be the one to fight. She refuses. She straps on silver claws. He warns her. Silver means nothing. Others have tried and failed. She says nothing. She has no choice. Rain begins to fall. The moon rises. The truth is revealed. The beast they sought is Boyce. As the transformation overtakes him, Alice becomes a raven and strikes, knocking him off balance. When he returns to himself wounded, he confesses. He would give anything to possess her foresight. She tries to soothe his pain. She knew all along. While tending his wound earlier, she laced it with silver, enough to sap his strength. She prepares to end him, but he cries out his final wish, to stay by her side forever. She grants it and drives the blade into his chest. Dawn breaks. Alice kneels beside a grave, placing the watch gently on the mound. Then she rides away. Back in the city, the witch who escaped the gallows returns to a gathering storm. The oppressed rise, rebellion erupts. In the palace, Alice delivers the werewolf's pelt to the queen. All it takes is a drop of blood to claim the power of transformation. The captain demands his watch back. This wasn't what he wished for. Alice replies, it's exactly what he asked for. The queen, grief-stricken, reveals the truth. She never wanted power, only Boyce. In rage and sorrow, she kills the captain, but never dons the pelt. Chaos consumes the palace. Soon Boyce, still alive, returns. He confronts Alice. They speak and the truth unfolds. She always knew his heart, his desires, his fate. She knew the queen would never wear his skin. She knew Boyce would live. She even knew the gun in his hand wouldn't fire. With Alice, all things can be bargained for, but it's wiser not to. Together, they ride beyond the city. Another tale closed. A fable etched in blood and shadow. A reminder, be careful what you wish for.